All right, Eberspacher VW Thing 181 gas heater, test fire. So we got everything set up. I got the power supply there. This is to test to make sure that the switch works. It has the factory wiring loom set up and plugged in to where it's supposed to be, so everything's set up as it would rest in the car. So what we're going to do is we're tricking the thermostat right here. So we'll turn that on and then we'll turn the switch on. So this should go. It has an NOS pump, metering pump on it. You can see the little bubbles coming up through here. You'll see how long it takes to fire. Yep, starting to fire right now. The only way this will continue to run, once it reaches optimal temperature, it'll continue to run because there's no thermostat hooked up to it yet. And that's what the tricking is right here with the switch. So once this gets up to, almost optimal heat, might need to adjust the switch out a little bit. There you go. It's a hot day, so it's not gonna click as quick. So that's running at 100% right there. With the thermostat on, it'll run for 45 to 60 seconds, maybe a little over 60 seconds, typically, before it goes into a shutdown mode to where it cools off. And that's controlled by the thermostat. Once the thermostat thinks it's reached the heat temperature it needs to, then the thermostat will kick it off, which is what this switch does right here. And then it'll go down to a cooling mode. And I'll show you what it does, what the thermostat does with that switch down there. So it's been running. Let's assume it's been 60 seconds. Then the thermostat will click it off. As you notice, the pump stopped working. So it'll go into a cool down cycle. This is the way that the heaters run without the thermostat hooked up to them. They'll run continually. So they'll just get baking hot. And they're not supposed to run that way. They're supposed to run in a up and down fashion, like a wave. They heat up and they cool down. They heat up and they cool down. Those are in 45 to 70-second increments, depending on what the ambient temperature is outside. So let's say it's cooled down enough, and the thermostat has cooled down as well. Trick the switch. The thermostat will click on like that again, and this should fire up again and go back into a heating mode to where it's putting hot air into the cabin. I have another video on YouTube that shows this hooked up into a 77 bus that I have, that I put basically the same heater in my bus. This runs the same way. So now it's putting out full hot air back into the cabin, sorry. And let's say the thermostat again, it reaches optimal temperature. The thermostat knows it, and it'll click off the fuel pump. Except this time, we don't want it to keep going, so we turn off the switch as well. So now the switch is off, the main switch. This will just cool down and shut off all on its own at this point. What's doing is cooling the rod that's inside the ignition chamber, rod that goes down in here. It's cooling it off to the point to where it will shrink back down. Actually, that shrinks down, and it'll trigger that little switch. It still might be sensitive because it's like a 75, 80 degree day here in San Diego, so it's hard to get these to run properly when it's not 45 degrees outside. This ambient temperature does affect tuning these to a certain degree. Give it another 15 seconds. That's enough. Figure out which way to turn it. There you go. So that little adjustment is what controls where it cools down to where the point to where it cools down enough to shut the heater off completely. So now it's ready to turn on again and run the cycle all over again in the wave pattern, on and off, on and off. Okay.